Nicole.
Yee.
Happy 4-year anniversary.
Aw, yay. Thank you.
That would have been
Back-
this past Wednesday.
Back at you.
The 4-year anniversary of this here podcast.
Wild. It's crazy we've been doing this so long.
It's been a long time. It does not feel like it's been 4 years.
No, it really doesn't.
Which is weird to think, but yeah. We're back at it again. We're closing in on episode 200.
Mm-hmm.
Things are happening. But hello, welcome to this week's episode of Season of Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hello.
This is episode 197. And it's time to talk about an old video game.
Yep.
That we played. That's not 4 years old.
No, it's a little bit older than that.
It is approaching its 25th birthday.
Oh my god.
So a little bit older.
Man.
Just a smidge.
I don't think of it as that old, and then I'm like, oh right, it did come out, what, 1994?
5.
Wow. So like, yeah, it is a little old.
Mm-hmm. That it is. We were talking about Donkey Kong Country 2. Diddy's Kong Quest. Not the other way around. Not the way that you think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, everybody thinks that it's Diddy Kong's Quest. But that gets rid of the pun.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kong Quest.
Yep. A few weeks back, I don't remember how far back.
Who the heck knows?
The time is a construct this year, particularly.
Yep.
We played Donkey Kong Country because it came out on the Nintendo Switch Online Super Nintendo Entertainment System for Nintendo Switch Online.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just played through this because it just came out. So yeah, we are moving through the Donkey Kong Country series. I'm assuming at some point they'll add 3, because why not?
I hope so, because I really don't remember that one very well.
But yeah, this game came out in November 1995 in Japan and December 95 here in the States and in Europe. So basically a year after DKC 1, and then 3 comes out a year after this.
Mm-hmm.
1995 being, of course, the late era of the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Apparently, this was the second best-selling game of 1995.
What was the first?
I don't know, actually.
Huh.
After Yoshi's Island.
Oh.
That was the best-selling game of 95. It is the 6th best-selling game of the Super Nintendo, and is also the highest-selling Super Nintendo game to not be a pack-in title.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. So there you go. Yeah, 95. 95 is a weird year because that, obviously, like I said, we're very much getting into the tail end of the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Because, some other stuff is kind of happening at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Mario 64 came out in 96, right? I'll Google.
I'm Googling.
You're Googling?
But yeah, 95 is when the Sony PlayStation would have been on the market in the United States by this point.
Yeah.
Along with the Sega Saturn. Mario 64 is 96.
Wild.
So yeah, the next generation of consoles are already on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Excluding, I think, the 64, which comes out in 96.
Right.
As well. But yeah, so like 2 next-gen consoles are on the market when this game comes out, which, again, not very surprising because like there's a lot of very like good late-gen Super Nintendo games that came out like well into the life cycle of that console.
Right.
Which is something you don't really see nowadays, obviously, but Nintendo kind of had some free time on their hands because their console wasn't going to be out for another year. So yeah, this is the sequel to Donkey Kong Country, the highly successful reboot of the Donkey Kong franchise, essentially. Except this time you do not play as Donkey Kong.
Nope, he's been kidnapped.
They're like, get out of here. We don't need you anymore. Which also kind of becomes a recurring theme in this series where the main character of the game will get kidnapped in the next game.
Yep.
As we will see when we play through DKC 3. But yeah, let's talk. Do you want to talk about the development of this here video game?
Please.
Again, as always, we are discussing this from the Wikipedia section. Development on Diddy's Conquest began shortly after the release of Donkey Kong Country, but before its commercial success, the employees of Rare desired to present new concepts that were not integrated into the previous title. Rare founder Tim Stamper served as director of the game, whereas his colleague Brendan Gunn, who had worked on the original, returned to design the game. In response to complaints from veteran gamers, that's a
Oof.
The game was designed to be more challenging than its predecessor. So that's an interesting thought there. Several working titles were considering, including DK Rescue, Diddy's Day Out, Diddy's Wild Country, and Diddy's Wild Frontier. Here's a stickler. Diddy Kong's Quest was decided on originally, but was slightly altered into Diddy's Conquest to create a play on the word conquest. So originally it was Diddy Kong's Quest.
And then somebody realized, like, oh, hey, we could make a pun out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You know what? I support the pun master who titled this.
It's true. The game was re-released for the Game Boy Advance in 2004, and a Virtual Boy port was in development at one time, but never released.
Whoa.
Diddy's Conquest, like its predecessor, utilizes silicon graphics because every late game, big Super Nintendo game, utilized silicon graphics.
Yep.
And advanced computer modeling (ACM) rendering technology, in which pre-rendered images are modeled as 3D objects and then transformed to 2D sprites and background layers. We talked about this when we talked about DKC 1, where I said I don't think that game has aged well visually. I would say the same thing about this game, but I think the differentiating factor with DKC 2 is that like the backgrounds and like environments are way more vibrant.
Yeah.
And unique compared to what DKC 1 offers. So like that is a definite, I think, upgrade in that aspect, but it's still a game that does not look great on modern televisions. The game's pirate theme narrative and level design was influenced by designer Greg Mayall's fascination with the golden age of piracy.
All right.
The team attempted to maintain the sense of speed and requirement of timing from the previous game. To avoid reproducing the same game entirely, Mayall's altered the gameplay to be less linear and more encouraging of exploration, while respecting the basics of fluidity and speed. In order to surprise players, the team decided to cast Diddy Kong as the main character as opposed to Donkey Kong. Mayall said that he dared to do without the iconic character of the series because his team's youth, Mayall himself was 23 during development, allowed them to disregard risks. The team preserved the gameplay mechanic of controlling two characters, which led to the creation of Dixie Kong. While Donkey and Diddy Kong controlled similarly, the team decided to establish a character with very different abilities to force the player to change between characters regularly. To achieve this difference, the team gave Dixie the ability to hover and descend gradually. Dixie was modeled and animated by Steve Mayall. According to Greg, the choice to introduce a female character was decided before the creation of her ponytail, and neither the hovering mechanism nor the intention to increase female representation in video games were an influence in the matter.
You know, I want to say, like, Nintendo's, I guess, push into having their lady characters have hover abilities is pretty legit. Like, in Mario 2 US, like, Toadstool had the like, hovering ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Dixie here with the hair helicopter. Like, that's legit. I admire their dedication to the lady copters.
The ponytail was initially given to create a trailing visual effect when Dixie runs, and Greg decided to put the ponytail to use upon seeing this effect in action. The concept of Dixie descending by using her ponytail as a helicopter blade was then created. Due to the time-consuming nature of the modeling process, Diddy's model was used as the base for Dixie. The ponytail was then added, the clothes were changed, and his features were made more feminine. Nearly 50 names were considered by Dixie, including Didine, Dee, Daisy, Dandy, Dolly, Dizzy, Danny, Dippy, and Ducky.
Oof. Some of those are bad.
The team initially opted for Didane before finally deciding on Dixie. Shigeru Miyamoto participated in the creation of the game's characters as he had for the previous title. Miyamoto offered different motifs to adorn Dixie's beret, with including a banana, a heart, and a logo, namely one inspired by that of the musical group ABBA. All right.
Oh, wow.
Rare incorporated the idea for a logo and placed a small version of the company's own on Dixie's beret in early promotional art. The creation of Dixie came at the expense of Donkey Kong's fiancée Candy Kong, who was removed from the game's cast due to Nintendo's concerns over her sexually provocative nature.
But she's in the poster in the back. Also, like, didn't we establish in the last one that Candy is not the fiancé?
Yeah.
Huh. When did we switch?
According to the source from Wikipedia, is from Le Histoire de Donkey Kong, a French publication. But we looked at like the manual that said that wasn't the case.
Right.
Like they were just friends.
Right.
Again,
that she had feelings for him, but he wasn't ready.
The Donkey Kong lore is very bizarre and clearly contested.
Yes, obviously.
The design choice to have Diddy and Dixie transform into the friendly animals that were initially mounted in the previous title was made out of concerns over sprite size. Additionally, Greg noted that having the two player characters clinging onto a parrot would significantly reduce its maneuverability. Also, like, it's not a realistic game. You don't have to go that far.
Yeah, no.
Let's briefly talk about the soundtrack.
Okay.
Which is good.
It's very good.
The soundtrack of Diddy's Kong Quest was composed by David Wise and was released in the United States as the original Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. The soundtrack maintains similarity to its predecessor with its prominent percussion and eclectic genres ranging between big band, disco, and hip-hop. The melodies and rhythms are largely comical in tone, but occasionally melancholic. Certain themes are reminiscent of compositions by Vangelis and Phil Collins, of course.
Yeah!
Wise cited Koji Kondo's music for the Mario and Zelda games, Jeff and Tim Follin's music for Plock, just wild choices as well, and synthesizer-based film soundtracks released in the 1980s as influences in creating the music for the Donkey Kong Country series.
So basically, like, he's like, I'm going to do some synthwave DK stuff.
Basically, yeah.
I'm wondering which stuff he would consider influenced by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I'm assuming the hip-hop thing is Diddy's little bit at the end.
Yeah, I would assume so as well.
Dixie's got a guitar solo.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the music's great. Even though the most nightmarish of levels, the Bramble levels are just like that soundtrack just out of this world.
It's like you look at the soundtrack compared to the last soundtrack, and it's like night and day better.
Mm-hmm.
And the last soundtrack's good, but like this one is just like top tier.
Yeah, it's way high up there in terms of OSTs for me.
We also learned that Drake sampled one of the tracks from this game and
did it poorly.
2015 mixtape. If you're reading this, is too late. But yeah, he just like takes like the first 2 seconds of it and just loops it.
He did it poorly. Like so much of that song that's actually good, or like he could have done like a significant amount of it rather than just like here's a little bit and it doesn't make sense and it sounds bad.
Let's see here. This game sold a combined 4.37 million copies in the United States and Japan on the Super Nintendo. The total number of copies in Japan at 2.21 million and 2.16 million in the United States. Retailers struggled to meet the demand for the game. Just flying off the shelves. And then the Game Boy Advance version sold 630,000 copies and earned 19 million by August 2006. During the period between January 2000 and August 2006, it was the 41st highest selling game launched for the GBA, Nintendo DS, or the PlayStation Portable in the country. That being the United States. Seems like that's such a big drop off though, but I wonder how much of that is just like people just not wanting to rebuy the game. Yeah. Considering it's only been like 10 years after the fact.
Only been 10 years.
Or just like, I mean, I never had a GBA, so like.
I never bought it for the GBA, but I had a GBA.
Yeah, so like I wonder just like, because I know they did a lot of like the re-releases for the Super Nintendo, or like Super Nintendo releases on the GBA. Yes. But yeah, like the GBA sold 81 million units, And then this game only sold 630,000 copies. That seems so weird.
Yeah, that's huh.
Especially coming off the fact that it originally sold over 2 million.
Right.
So yeah, like I wonder what the reasoning is for like such a huge drop off. Is just like, is it a combination of GBA people at that time just having already played it and just not wanting to play it again, or just like, I also don't know like how weird that GBA version is, if it's like 1-to-1 or not, or if like
Yeah,
there's some
that was
funky
my next
stuff with
question.
it.
Is like, is it an inferior version?
Or is it the fact that people were burned from DK64 and still feeling the effects of that?
Wow. I feel like I need to like replay that at some point and see if I can stand it.
Also, this is saying that it sold 603,000 copies by August 2006. The game launched in November of 2004 in the United States, so it sold 603,000 copies in 2 years.
Oof.
Which again, not a whole lot.
No. Dang.
It's very bizarre.
I didn't realize that came out when I was in high school.
Well, now
I'm
you know.
old.
You're an old.
I'm an old.
So yeah, let's talk about the gameplay of this here video game. One of the weird things that we kind of figured out as we were playing through this game is that you remembered a lot of this game.
Yes.
I did not remember a lot of this game. Which is interesting because like I definitely owned all 3 of these games.
Mm-hmm.
But like there were definite parts in like the middle portions, like the first middle half and the second middle half, where like there was like levels that I was like, I don't remember this at all. Like I don't remember what we're supposed to do here. And you were like, oh yeah, we gotta do this, this, and this. I was like, okay. Like I remember the opening world on the boat.
Yep.
I remember the roller coaster minecart levels.
Like the theme park area?
Yes. I remember the bee boss.
God, the bee boss.
I remember like the bramble areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was basically kind of it.
Yeah, I remember specifically that there's like a level that I saw the name of it and I was like, oh hey, this is the one where we have to do the balloons, and you're like, what?
I'm like, how do you remember this?
I remember this one best out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
I played this one a lot.
See, I think I played through this, I beat it, and then afterwards I got DKC3 and then played that for like 2 years until I got a PlayStation. So I probably played more DKC3 because like there's just more stuff in that game as well.
Right.
More so than I played this game in particular. But I definitely did play this game because I remember that boss fight vividly. But then like just, yeah, there was a bunch of sections just throughout that game where I was just like, what is this?
And
this
part
isn't
of
familiar.
It might have been for me that like I was really excited when it came out because I got to play as a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was she a girl, but she had that cool helicopter move that could get you out of a lot of tight spots.
Yeah.
So I was real stoked as a small owl that I was like, all right, cool. I get to play as a lady. And I mean, I could do that in 3, but this was like the first time of that. And it's like, oh, this is cool.
It was your Mario Kart thing.
Yeah. Basically, like, first time in a game that I was able to play as a girl, I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to play with her all the time.
Yeah.
And I did. Even in 64, I tended to lean as Tiny because she, one, had the helicopter move, too, but also was a girl and was the only girl in the cast. You know, they think their representation doesn't matter, but I'm sitting here saying, like, I was real stoked as a kid whenever I got to play as a girl. So, you know, there's that. Oh, I'm wearing my Super Nintendo socks today. I didn't realize that. How on theme am I?
Good job.
Yay!
Very intentional.
Very, very. Looking back, Dixie's outfit is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But then again, Diddy's doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, so...
He wears a shirt and a hat, and that's it.
DK's just naked with a tie.
Yep.
He's basically dressed like he works at, like, Chippendales.
Maybe that was the true inspiration.
But yeah, I will be interested when we play 3 to see like what I do remember of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely have stronger memories of 2 than any of them. Like I said, maybe 64, but I don't know. I haven't played that in ages.
You shouldn't.
Like I said, I want to try and see like if I can if it, because I like those games better than you do.
Mm.
Like I like the Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie games better than you did too. Anyway, but yeah, this was easily my favorite of the 1, 2, and 3. But then 3, you ended up getting like the big boy.
The big boy.
I forget. Kitty Kong.
Kitty, yeah. He's a big boy. He's a big baby.
Big baby. Which that's another thing. Dixie like sucks on her thumb when she's idle. I'm like, why are you doing that? That's really weird. I don't know if you noticed that.
It's
like she's not a baby.
It's her remembering her time in the Kong War.
God. Well, her idle animations got me in trouble with you a few times.
Why is that?
Because I was eating all the honey.
Oh yeah. You would just sit there and just let her eat the honey. I'm like, wow, you're just stealing all these bees' honey for no reason.
They're trying to murder us.
No wonder they're mad at us.
They're trying to murder us, and
yes,
so
because you stole the honey.
No, they tried to murder us before I stole the honey.
No, they saw it. They had a future premonition of you coming in and stealing their honey. Like, we're gonna nip this in the bud before it happens.
So these bees can see into the future.
Yeah.
And want to murder us
mm-hmm.
because I ate the honey off the walls.
Correct.
Man, honey's delicious though.
Yeah, but it's not yours. You could have asked. You didn't. You were just like climbing up the wall and just like, I'm gonna eat this. It's like gross. You don't know where your monkey paws have been.
Oh, I know exactly where the monkey paws have been. In all those levels.
Those levels aren't clean.
No, they're probably not.
Very dirty.
We've been in water. We've been in like weird lava water.
Weird swamps.
Oh yeah, with the cackling shirt men.
Cackling shirt man.
That's what they are. The ha 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 throw barrels.
And then Sonic the Hedgehog's there.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog is there. Then you have to murder him or get flung by him, whichever your choice is.
You know, just the Sonic experience. That's what that movie's about. Is that you either have to murder Sonic or you let him fling you. Just 90 minutes of that.
Man, the honey levels are interesting though. That can be hard. I do like the change that you can like become the critter friends in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have them, but you can also be them.
Because it definitely takes out the unpredictability of like, oh, if I get hit and lose this, then oh god, I'm boned.
Right.
And like they specifically designed the levels around you using the animals. Mm-hmm. Compared to being like, well, we have to design it in case they might have it, but if they don't, they also need to be able to do this as well. So like, I think it kind of adds a bit of flexibility to the level design compared to what you had in the first game, where it was like, well, maybe they'll have it, maybe they won't, so we can't really do too much in that direction. But here it's just like, well, now you have it, so go have fun.
And it is fun. We get On Guard back. We got the rhino. I think his name is Ramby. Is that
Ramby?
Right? We got Squawks.
Yep.
I don't know the snake's name.
Rattly.
Well, that makes sense. And then the Spooter, who is the only Spooter that
Squitter.
He's got shoes on.
He's got kicks on. He's got his Jordans on. And then you can just cheese the levels by just climbing to the top and then just spider webbing your ways very slowly across the level.
Man, having the spider is like one of the best ways to choose the levels. It's fantastic. I love it. That and you can just spam the attack button and hit whatever you want. Except for the red bees, you can't kill those guys.
It's very good. The only times it gets stressful is when like in like the last level where you have to like climb that tower and like you're using like all the animals and like you have to hurry through your jumps and the spider webs and stuff like that. That's the only time it gets real stressful where you can't cheese it. But like other than that, it's very good because you're just like, oh, this is all right. I'm just gonna take it easy now. There's no time limit on these levels. I can just like let's go as slow as I want. Taking it easy.
Man. But that's fun. Did I miss any of the animal pals?
No, I don't think so.
That's it. Okay.
They also have like new abilities where you can like hold the A button and charge up an attack. So like Ungard and Rambi have like a charge attack that you can use to bust through walls and stuff like that. Which gives you more access to bonus levels. Because there's a lot of bonus levels in this here video game.
A lot. And the Snek has a ultra bounce, but it takes forever to charge.
We learned that the hard way.
Yeah, no kidding. I will say that having the ability to use save states makes this game much easier to get through and less infuriating.
That's true. I feel like we were way less mad than we were when we played DKC 1.
Yes, absolutely less mad.
There was definitely times where we were mad, especially like the B-boss fight.
The B-boss fight was very irritating. And also that one level where we had to use all the animals.
The big climbing the castle level,
That was rough.
But I mean, at least that one's like, this is the end of the game, so like you're kind of expecting that, but also like doing that all in one go is,
yeah, the B is the only time that I can really think of that we're just like, ah.
Yeah, it's just the way that like you have to hit so it's a big B, obviously. The boss fight where you fight a big B. And the only way you can damage it is by hitting the stinger, which is a very, very small hitbox. And you're playing a Squawks the Parrot who has very weird movement, and he can only shoot whatever he shoots, like his balls or nuts or whatever he's shooting at people in like a curved angle that come out of his mouth. So it just makes for a very awkward feeling boss fight. Because you get to like make sure your curved shot hits this very tiny hitbox, and you have to do it like 6 times, especially when the bee's like getting faster and faster. So it's just like going up and down, avoiding it. Oh god, let me see if I can shoot it. Oh, I missed. Oh, trying to time this again. See if I do. Oh, I missed again. Time this again. It's rough. And we got very close, like I think a few times, and it was just like, like that I think was the most frustrated I got with this game.
Yeah,
which I'm sure you were able to tell.
Yeah, I remember when I say this as if it were a long time ago.
Last week
there was a lot of cursing on your end during the bee fight. But for the most part, we were doing fine. I had some dumb moves that I pulled every once in a while accidentally.
I think we both had some dumb moves that we pulled every once in a while.
That's valid. That's absolutely valid. Whoops.
Because there'd be times where you would do something and I'd be like, ow, what are you doing? And then I would like immediately do something back and you'd be like, Jared, what are you doing? I'm like, no.
Don't use my line against me.
But yeah, there was definitely some times where we're just like, just some goofy mistakes that we would do. But also we are playing this online, so like there's going to be instances of like latency and lag, so like that doesn't necessarily help. But yeah, we did play I think a lot better than we played when we played this in person, where like we got stuck on the fire level, but like then we just cruised through it when we were playing it this way. So it was like, why were we so stuck on that level for so long?
That's a good question.
We just one-shotted it essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Clearly, there's clearly some like big latency and lag in my NES Mini that's been hacked. So I'm just gonna blame that.
That's smart.
It's all those Famicom disc games that are on there. It's it's introduces like a half second of lag clearly, so the jumps aren't as accurate. That's probably it. But yeah, like I remember it's like kind of going to that lava area and being like, oh right, we got stuck on this area, remember? And then it was just like we just cruised through all those levels, and it's like, wait, How did we get stuck here last time?
We also didn't have to spend any of the coins because we just used save states instead of saving
Mhm.
with oh shoot, what's the grandma's name?
Wrinkly.
Wrinkly Kong.
But also, we
Who's
would have save states on that as well.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that like this is a way that we were playing it differently than we would have originally.
Right. Also, like, I don't know if we just knew these levels really good in the very beginning, but like coming out of the first world, we had like 30 lives.
Yeah.
And like never really dipped down below that. Also because we were save stating and everything, but like
Yeah.
compared to the last game where we're like we had to go and farm lives multiple times.
Yep.
Like we were just set for the rest of the game in a way that like felt real weird.
It was wild. I did not expect it. I was expecting us to have to like go and farm some lives or do some of the trivia sessions or something to get them. But we didn't really have to do that.
Nah, which again I think it was just because we save state more in this version than we did in DKC1, where we would just try levels over and over and then be like, oh crap,
Yeah.
we gotta go get some levels.
Get some lives.
Yes, lives. So yeah, like that felt real. I don't like it. Again, like that feels like it's coming in, like it's coming up against that notion that they're like, oh, we made this game harder because people thought the last game was easy. But then it's like you can come out of that first world with like 20 to 30 lives, and you're pretty good
Yeah.
for a good amount of time. So like,
I definitely wouldn't consider this one harder.
yeah, like
I think more complex is a good way to put it, but not harder.
I think more complex, and also like the ramp up in difficulty is smoother than it is in DKC1.
Yes, I will 100% agree with you on that.
Like the way that they go through like introducing you to more like hard things, more difficult ideas and everything, like definitely happens a lot in the back half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think works really well. But I think in DKC1 there's a little bit more just like erraticness with that. Like it's not as smooth. Where you'll get into levels where you're just like, oh god, I'm stuck on this forever. Then oh, I'm free, and then it's like, oh god, I'm stuck on another level. Whereas this, you're like, okay, well, we're getting into the back half of the game. We know we're gonna get into like some more difficult levels here and there, especially like those tower levels near the very end, are definitely a challenge. But I think like it makes sense because like you're about to finish the game. These are going to be very challenging levels,
Right.
in a way that you would want. So like yeah, like it's. I think they might have made this more difficult. Who's to say? Because we obviously play this game in a much different way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're also like more cognizant of the fact of like how do you ramp up the difficulty for a player compared to what they did with DKC1. So I think that helps a lot in like kind of like creating this illusion that it's not as difficult as the other game.
Right.
It has a better progression than the other game had.
I think that that's completely it. It has a much more natural progression of difficulty.
Which I think helps this game in just a ton because like it's hard to find a way this game is inferior to one.
Yeah.
Which is wild to say because like there was only a year between these two games coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So like they said like, oh, we started this basically right after DKC1 was finished, but like this is still like a lot of complex levels and everything, a lot of level design, new characters, new areas, new all sorts of new like bonus stuff and collectibles that they put into this game specifically, and doing that all within the year of the release of the last game and making it a better playing game on top of that is real wild.
It's impressive.
Like it's not something you were able to really pull off all that often.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, with big first party franchises like this. Like, I mean, you could look at the progression from Super Mario Brothers 1 to Super Mario Brothers 2 and be like, did they really learn anything between these two games? Because all they did with the second one is just make it way harder and just more of a jerk. Whereas with this, it's like you can see like, oh, they learned from this, and they're adding this into this game and implementing it more to make it make way more sense in a way that is better suited for playing the game. And they did all of that within a year of these two games coming out.
I can only think of one other instance right off the top of my head that this happened.
What's that?
Majora's Mask. That had also a year turnaround, or not a year turnaround, but it had a very quick turnaround. I think it had a year and a half. but very quick turnaround and honestly improved on everything about Ocarina.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to do. Like, you have to be really on top of your game and, like, know, like, what you want to improve in the
Mm-hmm.
following game, especially in doing that in such a short amount of time. Like, that easily could be a recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah, super duper.
Because then you're just like, you could get into the idea of like, oh, we gotta rush this through, we gotta get this out in this amount of time, and now, oh god, we're just like kind of just lazily doing these levels, lazily doing these improvements and everything, and you could run into a situation where the game's just much worse.
Mm-hmm.
But that is luckily not the case here.
Yeah, this game's great.
This game's a whole lot of fun.
I mean, both times that I've played this with you, I've had a real good time with it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
I also just love murdering a sword with a cannonball.
It's real goofy.
That's real good.
Like, there's definitely a good amount of like variety in bosses here compared to the first game, where it's just like
Yeah.
3 bosses and they repeat 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's only like one boss that like kind of repeats, and even then, like, there's a different enough gimmick within between the two
Right.
that it's not like it's the same fight, but just like faster or whatever, like it was in DKC 1.
Yeah.
So like
Because you've got like the pirate vulture,
mm-hmm.
you've got the sword,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the clubber guy.
Yes.
Um, you have ghost vulture,
Ghost Vulture, the bee.
the bee of how could I forget the bee?
How could you forget the bee?
Like that's a pretty big variety there.
Mm-hmm. Is there one more? I feel like there's one
Probably.
more, but I just cannot remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I if there is, I don't remember what it is.
And then you have the big boss fight with Mr. Rule.
Mr. Rule.
Mr. Rule. Mr. K. Rule. Who now has an airship and shoots a giant musket at you. I remember this fight just being incredibly difficult when I was a kid. Like, it took me so long to get through it. Which mostly probably because of like that last bit and the last part of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But like that fight is so vivid in my mind of just like, him scooching back and forth across the screen, shooting the bullets at you, having to pick them up and throw them back at him, just doing that constantly. Like, it's just seared into my mind of doing that constantly. Which I don't think is as bad now as I'm older.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a very long fight because it's like a 3-phase fight and you have to do it all at once. So like that can be a little difficult to do, all at once, but
Yep.
I think the phases are all pretty fair in general. Like, the last phase can be kind of difficult because like it's very hard to dodge those like clouds he shoots at you that can kind of mess with your controls and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just depends on which one you get. Like, the red one's easy to deal with because it just like gives you like a slow-mo jump, so you can kind of like jump over one bullet and then jump over the next two because you have enough hang time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to like the purple cloud, which is like does like a loop when it comes out, so it makes it very hard to dodge, that inverts your controls. That makes it very hard to like deal with his final part where he's trying to like suck you into his gun, and then you have to like grab the bullet when he finally shoots out and throw it back at him to beat him for real. So like if you're in that inverted control phase, it's just like you're kind of just boned if you get hit by that, because like it's just very hard to kind of wrap your mind around, okay, I need to do the other way to avoid this, but also it kind of doesn't work sometimes.
It doesn't work very well.
Yeah, so it makes it a little funky. Hey. Funky mode.
We didn't even talk about Funky Song.
Man, Funky Song is the best song on the soundtrack.
He is surfing on air. It's real impressive.
He is funky. That's funky mode for you.
Man.
He is the Kong of Kongs. But yeah, you defeat King K. Rool, and then Donkey Kong beats him up. Uppercuts him out of like his airship. Goodbye, Pirate Man. And then you get to celebrate and hang out with everyone.
He was never seen again.
Nope, never ever. Definitely never seen again.
Nope.
Definitely won't be in another game after this.
Nope. Definitely won't ever make it to Smash.
Definitely will never make it to Smash. Yeah. This game is a whole lot of fun. Like, I'm glad they put this on the Switch Online stuff. Even though they really need to get better at just putting out more games for that system, because, like, good lord, you're just putting out ROMs. Yeah. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I was gonna mention we had our bandana friend who was trying to murder us, which is what Drake was sampling the music from. But
yes,
I thought it was real cool when he showed up. He was like, he has a bandana.
Yeah, he's got a bandana and he's a ghost. He's a ghost skeleton with a bandana on. It's real cool.
And I did not realize until
forgot about this.
Until we played it this time. I was like, you know what? I understand that, like, you get the green barrels and not the red barrels, but I never figured out what they actually do. And you're like, did you not see the timer there? I'm like, what? I just thought he got closer to you.
So yeah, like there's like in that level you're collecting these plus sign barrels that increase the time that is above you to get to the next checkpoint of the level. Yes. And that makes him stop chasing you. So like it's just a timer that, and if you hit the minus barrels, it basically decreases your time, makes it so he'll come get you quicker. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of the level, is to make sure you have enough time to get from checkpoint to checkpoint. And then here's Alex like, oh, I thought you just got closer to me for some reason. I thought that was it. I was like, oh my god, ow.
I legit, and you know, it might have been just because I was so focused on getting the barrels this whole time. Mm-hmm. But I never noticed the timer. I was just like, all right, I have to get the green so he doesn't get closer to me. That's it. That's the gimmick. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this game came out in 95.
25 years ago almost.
I am 32 years old, and I just now realized that there is a timer in that level.
Congratulations on learning.
Whoops.
I also like that like there's race levels in this game, which I think just is a different thing altogether, because it kind of makes you change up your mindset when you're thinking about these levels. In particular, like there's one with the mine carts where you have to like defeat the enemies on the mine carts to get ahead of them or just jump over them. Mm-hmm. And you have to do that enough. Basically, I don't think you have to win necessarily. I think if you win, you get the DK coin. Yeah. But like it's basically just a way to kind of like change the dynamic of a minecart level, which the minecart levels in this game are so much better.
They're so much better.
So much better. Like holy crap.
I did not dread them as much.
No, it was like they were like, we took a little bit on the race level, but only just because like just getting the feel for that level and everything. But like other than that, like they were fine compared to the last game. And then there's the race level where you have to race the bird against squawks. So that took me a little bit because like it isn't a bramble level, so like you have to basically maneuver around these very tight corners and corridors, and also you have to shoot some bees afterwards. So like it's just like it's very meticulous in how you have to move throughout that level, and especially that race portion of the level. But like that took me about like 10 times I think, at least. But eventually I kind of figured out the maneuverability portions of it, which you can kind of get very precise and interesting, like with how like you can, you know, gain speed and like be very tight around your corners and everything to get like a good lead and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that was very satisfying when I finally got through that portion. Because it's like, oh, thank God I don't have to do that again. And then you were like, oh, there's an exploit in this where you can just kind of bypass this whole thing. And I was like, great.
To be fair, I didn't know that until after we.
Yeah, but still, it's just like, oh man.
Wish we'd known that then.
Yeah.
Oh well. I guess he could technically count as a boss, whoever that bird was.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually have to fight him.
Race boss.
Race boss. I like this game.
It's a pretty good game.
I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to 3 and I can't tailspin again.
Unless we have you play as Dixie.
Oh.
Because you could just host then.
Oh.
If you wanted to do that way.
But then I would be in charge of the save states.
That's true.
Another thing that we found out that is pretty funny about this game is that whenever I get real into trying to make my jumps precise, you know where I'm going with this. Basically, because of the way that the control is and that we're playing it on the Switch, the little hand appears because I get too into it. My finger hits the right stick.
I would just be sitting here waiting on just stuff to happen, and then I would just see the hand pop up, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay." Al's getting a little into it.
Yep. Al got super. That happened a lot.
It did. It was very fun.
And so every once in a while, I'd like be really into it. I'd hear you laugh. And I'm like, oh God, the hand showed up, didn't it?
I'm like, yep.
Oh man. That hairspin though, man, it's broken. I love it.
It's so good.
It's so good. Man, what a good game.
It's a fun game.
We finally have redeemed ourselves with a lava level.
We did. It took us a year and a half. I almost said 2 years. And I was like, that doesn't sound right.
That's not right.
But again, time is a construct. It makes no sense anymore.
No.
There is no such thing as time.
It is not real.
It is not real. But yeah, I am very excited. I want them to put DKC3 on like now. I know that it's going to be like 2 or 3 months until they do it because it's the way they've been doing these releases. It's bad. But yeah, like I am very excited to play through DKC3 again because I remember that game a lot. I remember just there's so much just weird stuff in that game.
Yeah.
Because like they basically make an open world like kind of hub for you, and there's like so much weird stuff you can do in that hub area to like unlock one of the final bosses early, find a bunch of like hidden stuff that you can do and upgrade your like little boat ski thing. It's just so much weird stuff in that game. Like you could definitely tell this is them kind of like testing the waters for a collectathon style gameplay with how much like they kind of cram into DKC3. And then obviously we'll expand upon when they get to the N64 and do all those games. But yeah, like this is definitely, you can see the
evolution.
The evolution, the pieces coming together for Rare to be like, ooh, collectathons. Ooh, I like the idea of that.
I was going to say something. Now I can't remember what I was going to say.
You were going to say DK, Donkey Kong.
I don't know. Anyway, what were you going to say before I interrupted you?
I don't know. DK, Donkey Kong.
Oh, Cranky in this one has 2 sticks. Like he's got essentially a walker this time.
He's getting old.
Showing his age.
He's getting old.
Isn't Wrinkly dead in the next one? She's a ghost. I don't
remember. Maybe.
Pretty sure she's a ghost.
Either way, Cranky will still tell you that he can beat this game in way quicker than you could.
Yeah, he yelled at us.
He's a pro gamer. He's probably had many heated gamer moments.
Oh my god.
Considering he's an arcade character.
Yeah, probably.
DK, Donkey Kong. CK, Cranky Kong. What did Cranky Kong do in the Kong War?
I mean, that's a valid question. I wonder if I can find an answer. I doubt it. It would help if I spelled Kong War correctly. I did Mong War. Ape War.
Sorry, the Ape War.
Sometimes called Kong Wars, Banana Wars. Wow. The war between the Kongs and the Kremlings. Funky was the Brown Baron.
That's right. We learned that last time.
Yep, Donkey Kong Jr. God, his wife decided to assist him, was either killed or went missing. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't involved in the war.
He was too busy in being in Donkey Kong, the arcade game. He was too busy dealing with that Jumpman.
There was a Manky Kong betrayal.
All right.
Man. Oh my god, they've also worked in Super Mario RPG as part of the Kong Wars, like the whole.
Look, they're getting far too into this. We are getting to Hyrule Historia levels
Yeah.
of ridiculousness. You don't want to go there.
No. No. Although like it might be funnier to actually get like a Hyrule Historia level book for the Kong
I
Wars.
mean, yes, you're right.
Give me that lore, Nintendo. Whew. And also clarify whether Candy is the girlfriend, the fiance, or just a friend.
Again, in this list of Donkey Kong characters, they list her as the girlfriend of Donkey Kong, which is again it's something completely different as well. Also, apparently, they put her back into DKC2 for the GBA remake.
What?
She is an assistant in the Swanky Kong quiz show.
And then she's in 64, I know.
And then also, I guess she makes another appearance in DKC3 in the GBA remake. But she was too sexually scandalizing.
I mean, couldn't they have just like, I don't know, made her not scandalous?
No, that's way too hard.
They could have just like, not made her super hot, I guess. I don't know. Is she It's hard for me to say that she is hot because I'm like she's a Kong.
In 2007, Games.net ranked Candy Kong number 2 on the list of top 10 disturbingly sexual game characters.
Disturbingly sexual. Okay.
That sure are some words.
Not what I expected to hear today, but here we are.
Also, you were mentioning in that thing about the Kong Wars that Cranky Kong's wife went missing?
No, not Cranky. It was DK Jr.
I was going to say.
She was either killed or missing because Wrinkly is
yes,
Cranky's wife.
Either way. I also like how Dixie's went from DKC3 to nothing until she reappeared in the great Donkey Konga 2. Everyone's favorite Donkey Kong game. Get out your bongos. It's Donkey Konga.
One day we'll play that.
I mean, I've played it.
I have not played it.
Let's check out the track listing for Donkey Konga 2.
Okay.
And see all the bangers that are on it. Going into this FAQ from 2006 on IGN. Oh, yes, of course. It's a 2006 game, so of course you start off the soundtrack with All Star by Smash Mouth.
Ooh. Wow.
And then you have Boombastic by Shaggy.
The Mr. Boombasket? I can't say this.
All I know is it wasn't me.
Yep.
Born Too Slow by The Crystal Method. Come Clean by Hilary Duff. Contact by Roger Sanchez. I don't know. Donkey Konga 2 theme. Drive by Incubus. Full Moon by Brandy. Habanera by Bizette from Carmen. Headstrong by Trapped.
Whoa!
High Roller by The Crystal Method. Hit 'em Up Style by Blue Cantrell.
Oh, that's the song about cheating.
Great addition for Donkey Konga. Am I being ribbed here? Is this actually the real soundtrack?
I don't know.
I have to go to another source. I have to go to the Mario Wiki. Does this tell me the soundtrack? But also this has like different regions have different soundtracks.
That makes sense.
No, this is the North American soundtrack for sure.
Oh my god. What else is on it?
Oh boy, okay. I Don't Want to Know by the Donnas.
Okay.
Haven't heard of the Donnas in like 7 years. Not way more than that. It's It's been a while by Stained.
Oh.
La Bamba.
La Bamba.
Losing My Religion by REM.
Heck yes.
All right, this is a very weird inclusion.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the Minute Waltz or the Minute Waltz by Frédéric Chopin.
Good.
Nana, Hey Hey, Kiss Him Goodbye by the Nylons.
I don't think I know that one.
No More Drama by Mary J. Blige.
I do know that one.
Pieces by Hoobastank.
Any inclusion of Hoobastank's a mistake.
Predictable by Good Charlotte.
Wow.
Road Trip by Stereogram. Rock the Boat by Aaliyah.
I do know that one.
Send the Pain Below by Chevelle.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Shiny Happy People by REM.
Oh, yeah. That was my song as a kid.
Sidewalks by Story of the Year.
That sounds familiar. I don't know what that is, though.
I know Story of the Year is a band. I don't know. There maybe for the song. The Anthem by Good Charlotte. Trepak by Tchaikovsky.
Oh, wow. That's a choice.
Trouble by Pink.
Okay.
You Don't Have to Call by Usher.
For sure.
Unpretty by TLC.
Oh, I like that song.
Why Don't We Fall in Love by Amory.
I don't know that.
And then Wish You Were Here by Incubus.
Ooh, that is that it?
That's it. We're also missing there's a bunch of on the European version that we're missing. Like Are You Ready for Love by Elton John.
Okay.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, that's sad that we didn't get that one.
A Depeche Mode song.
Ooh, I like Depeche Mode.
I'm a Slave for You by Britney Spears.
Heck yeah!
Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang.
Which Depeche Mode song is it? I'm curious.
Enjoy the Silence.
Oh, I love that one.
The Pokemon main theme.
All right.
A Soul Asylum song. All right.
All right.
That's the Way I Like It by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
The Soul Asylum one's Runaway Train, right?
Yes. And then the William Tell Overture.
All right. Sure.
And then the Japanese version has a completely different set list, such as like anime openings from like Doraemon and Pokemon and Pretty Cure. A different Chopin song.
Which one?
Ko Ino no Waltz. It's in Japanese.
No.
So it's actually probably the same thing. It's just in
Yeah.
Japanese. The Legend of Zelda theme.
Ooh, neat.
More anime. A Gundam opening.
Of course.
The Pikmin 2 theme song. Oh, yeah, a Naruto ending.
Whoa.
And then, of course, Yankee Doodle.
Casual.
It's just, all right, are we going to just spend the rest of this podcast talking about the Donkey Konga set list? Because I think that's what we're going to do here to add time. We're at like an hour, but we can talk about the Donkey Konga set list. What is happening on Donkey Konga? How wild is the Donkey Konga set list is the real question. Oh, of course, we're starting off with All the Small Things by Blink-182.
All the small things.
Get it real into aliens. Bingo. Like
What's his name,
Bingo. Yeah. Busy Child by the Crystal Method. A lot of Crystal Method in these soundtracks.
A lot of Crystal Method. Wow.
Dancing in the Street by Martha and the Vandellas.
Okay.
The DK Rap.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
The Hungarian Dance number 5 in G minor.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. The Impression That I Get by the Mighty Body Boss Tones. Let's get some ska in here.
That's the only ska song that's acceptable.
I Think I Love You by Casey. There's a Kirby song, the Zelda theme. Like Wow by Leslie Carter. The Locomotion by Kylie Minogue.
Wow. That's
Yep.
a duo of songs there.
Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. The Super Mario theme. Those are two different songs.
Yeah.
To be clear. On the Road Again by Willie Nelson.
What?
Oi Como Va by Santana. Clearly, there's easily a
How
better
Smooth
Santana song.
not here?
Exactly.
What year did this come out?
2005?
Yeah, Smooth should have been on here.
2003. In 04, it was 04 in overseas, but yeah, you're right. Para los Romboros by Tito Puente.
No idea.
Pokemon theme.
Okay.
Right Here, Right Now by Jesus Jones.
Okay.
Rock Lobster.
Yeah.
Rock This Town by the Stray Cats.
Good.
Shining Star by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
Sing, Sing, Sing with a Swing by Benny Goodman. Stupid Cupid by Patsy Cline.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Turkish March by Mozart.
Oh, what?
We Will Rock You.
Okay.
What I Like About You by the Romantics.
Okay, that's a good
Whip
one.
It.
That's a real good one.
Wild Thing by the Trogs.
You know what? I understand putting this on a Donkey Kong song. That
And
makes
then
sense.
You Can't Hurry Love by the Supremes. Again, the European version had other songs like 99 Red Balloons.
Ooh, that one's good. I wonder if they did the German version or if it's...
It maybe just depends. Some Jamiroquai. Sure. Don't
Candy?
Stop Me Now by Queen. Yes,
Okay,
that's one of them.
That is the better Queen
Oh,
song.
100%. I Want You Back by the Jackson 5.
Nice.
Lady Marmalade.
Nice! How did we not get that one?
That's a great question. Oh, they also got Tub Thumpin'.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, the Japanese side is again more anime, such as the Pokemon opening, or one of them. The commercial theme song for Pikmin. An Utada Hikaru song.
What?
Which I don't think is in Kingdom Hearts.
Which one is it?
Colors.
No, it is not in Kingdom Hearts.
More anime. More anime. Oh, how did the Japanese version get Mambo number 5? And we didn't.
What?
That's real messed up. They got the Donkey Kong 64 theme song called Monkey Rap, which we all know what that is. And then more anime. And then that leaves us Donkey Konga 3, which I don't think came out here. It was only released in Japan.
Oh, man, what's that track listing like, though?
Some J-pop. The 5th Naruto opening is in here.
All right. I don't know what that one is.
Oh, the fourth Naruto opening's in here, which is Go by Flow, which is very good. There's some Asian Kung Fu Generation in here.
Oh, nice.
The 4th Full Metal Alchemist opening. So like that's some good stuff. And then it's like here's some other anime like the Dragon Ball Z opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some more Donkey Kong and Pokemon. And then the Fire Emblem commercial theme, which I hope is just Fire Emblem.
It probably is.
And then some Western songs, like a song from Scott Joplin.
Which one?
Entertainer. And then also La Cucaracha. Some game songs, like a song from Smash Brothers. Okay. And then some children's music. And then they just put a bunch of Famicom music on here. Like
cool.
Music from the Zelda, music from the Dr. Mario, music from Mappy and Pac-Man. You know, all the Famicom hits.
God.
All I'm saying from this is that they should put out a new Donkey Konga.
Yep, I agree with you.
But also make it a soundtrack that should be from the 2000s.
Yes.
So it's just ridiculous.
Let me make the soundtrack for the new Donkey Konga, please.
All right, okay, that's something I can get behind. Look, I will get behind Nintendo and their terrible business idea of doing limited releases if they let Al make a new Donkey Konga soundtrack.
Yeah! Please petition for this, everyone.
Oh, man. That's going to do it for this episode. Man, we really need to play the Donkey Konga games and talk about them. This has been on our list for like 2 or 3 years now.
It has.
But even more so.
Yeah.
This is something we got to do.
We got to do it. That's amazing.
Oh, my God. But yeah, that's gonna wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
If you would like more from us, go to seasonlimecheckup.com or sdc.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Checkup and Jared Now Watch. Jared Now Watch will be coming back this week.
Woo!
So look forward to that. You can find more from AnLadium at AnLadium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to bonus episodes, unedited versions of the podcast, all that fun stuff. There's a bonus episode coming your way sometime soon whenever we decide to record it. We have an idea, but we just got to do it.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Next week, we'll talk about something.
If nothing else, we have a JoJo game to talk about.
Yes. but also we're probably gonna pair that with something. So who knows?
I'm just saying, worst case scenario.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So probably be better to pair that with something. But either way,
Valid.
that's it. Goodbye.
Yeet.
Play some
Bye.
Donkey Konga.
Bye.